Y'all booping? Dang. Whoa. Got some drinks here. We got sweet and fuzzy pineapple margarita. Penicillin. That's my favorite. Can you flex? Dang, look at that. Would you look at that? Sushi time. Oh my goodness, I'm super freaking pumped. It is the start of the new year. New year, new me. Your eyes are not deceiving you. It did say season 2. It's partly because I wanted to try something a little different. I've been doing like episode like 200 something or other. And you know, after a while, it just becomes like so much. It's technically not season 2, but it's more like season 5. I've been bringing my camera along with me to a lot more places. So I want to get more of an actual experience of what it's like being a furry. It's cool and all to do like, you know, how-to videos and stuff, but I wanted to include a bit more, you know, what I do outside of, you know, pressing record and just talking, right? I want to show more. Hopefully, you know, y'all like that kind of style of stuff. If you do, like, let me know. And if not, I might cry. I might cry a little bit, just a teeny bit. But today's video is like actually about something one of my viewers suggested, and I'm like super freaky excited. That's right. I actually listened to suggestions. I actually, you know, followed through and did a video idea from one of my previous streams. So I've been with Shep for a while now. But before that, there was a time period where, you know, I was just out and about, seeing what's out there in the local dating scene. And I had some experiences, let me tell you what. Prior to joining the fandom, right, I was super awkward and shy around just anybody. So you can imagine how difficult it would be to, you know, try and make a move, like go out with someone. It was difficult. It was not an easy task. It actually felt like, you know, a Dark Souls boss or something. The moment I work up the courage to ask someone out, like I see that HP bar appear on the bottom of the screen, and then the music just starts building up, and I know I'm going to be in for a challenging fight. I've met people before Shep. I've, of course, asked them on dates, because, you know, I'm kind of the romantic type, right? Like, I love love. The first person I asked out on a date, it would have been like 9th grade. Yes, that is how long it took. I know there's no shelf life on like when you can get into the game, but it was a little later for me. I had the courage to ask someone out for the very first time in like 9th grade. You know, I had kind of known this person for a while. Let's just call her Bean. That's right, I'm staying topical. I am Caffeine, and I have to talk about things that are energy drink and coffee related. So we'll call her Bean. Bean and I have been going to school for, you know, a while, and we were pretty much friends at that point. I got to asking around about what Bean's interests are. Surprisingly enough, Bean was an avid gamer. Like, Bean was just perpetually online. And I was like, that's neat. There's somebody who connects with me on that. I love video games, right? Like, I've grown up playing them and I still play them to this day. I had never known, you know, that other people could be into them too, right? I had a very sheltered life. I lived in this little sphere. Finding out more stuff about people was really eye-opening. I found out Bean was just like slaying all day on Diablo 2. At the time, I was also playing Diablo 2. Me and action RPGs have a long storied history. I freaking love just mindlessly clicking away. That is my reason for gaming, at least during that time. Bean and I really got into playing Diablo. Looking back on it, right? Looking back, I can see this, but we were like this close to just like, you know, going out with each other. And it just never happened. Like we both didn't have the courage to like actually say anything. We were both super shy. And as you can imagine, yeah, things take a little bit longer. It's a little glacial at that point. I finally worked up the courage after I found out that she was playing Diablo 2. I was like, hey, what's your IP address so I can play Diablo 2 with you? And it was like the nerdiest thing I've ever said. And I've said a lot of nerdy things. I've said so many things that are just like, you know what, Caff? A little bit of a geek, a little bit of a nerd. But asking someone out where you don't ask what their number is, you don't get like their phone number, you get like their IP address so you can do a LAN party on Diablo 2. That's like some Big Bang Theory dating. The moment those words left my lips, I was like, man, you know what? Like, she's just gonna be like, you're weird. Why are you asking about that? Surprisingly, it was like she was waiting for me to ask that question. So Bean and I hit it off at that point. It didn't last, obviously, because Bean isn't here. That was my first experience with dating, is IP addresses. The second person I met, we'll just call them Mocha to keep on theme with this coffee energy going on right now. Mocha and I worked at the same grocery store. So on base, you know, there's like a grocery store. It was my first job ever. And Mocha and I were like just really great friends. We had so many interests in common. And I worked with them, right? So that was kind of like a plus. Like when you see the same person every single day, you know, like you're just kind of cool. This story kind of has a little bit of a different ending because it I had worked with Mocha at that point for like 3 years. Like right after high school, I was just, you know, just doing a job at the time just to kind of, you know, make some money on the side. And I was like still living with my parents. I had worked with Mocha for like 3 years, and then I found out that my dad got orders to move to a different base. Here's the part that gets me. 3 or 4 days before we're getting ready to leave, like for good, like we're not coming back, Mocha comes up to me and is like, oh, I didn't realize you're leaving. I had a crush on you for like the past 3 years. And my brain is just kind of like, what? No way. Like it took a good bit of processing power. Like my CPU, my CAF processing unit just was not firing that well that day. Or those 3 years, obviously, because I was not picking up on anything. Maybe they were just really shy. Maybe Mocha was even shyer than I was. I didn't find out until like I left. I sort of felt something too, right? I mean, a little bit, you know, Mocha was pretty cute, but it just didn't work out. I felt bad. I felt terrible. It felt like a movie scene, like at the end when somebody's flying away on an airplane and the other person's like running up next to the side of the plane and they're like, no, don't go. I have something to tell you. It felt like that, only not on a plane. So that one did not quite end as well as I thought it would. But the final one, yes, there have only been 3 people that I have, I don't know, had romantic interactions with. Like, what's the word? Dated or almost dated. The last person before Shep, I had a huge crush on. Like a huge crush on. We'll call them Espresso. I had a huge crush on Espresso for a very, very long time. Coincidentally enough, Espresso also worked at the same place that the last person did. So there was just this kind of like really deficient love triangle going on at this grocery store. Because somebody like had a crush on me, but I didn't even know. And I had a crush on somebody else. And you know, we're never gonna call these like dating, because like the last 2 didn't even really work out. You're gonna find out why this last one did not work out quite well. But I finally worked up the courage to ask Espresso out on a date. This was like absolutely terrifying because prior to this was the first time I ever approached someone, looked them in the eye and asked the question. Because the first time was just like an internet address, right? Like it was kind of like a casual like, ha ha ha. The circumstances made it feel a lot less tense. So the butterflies were kind of going in overdrive. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. And I watched a bunch of movies, like romantic comedies, and it always worked out, right? Like when somebody had the courage to ask somebody out, it all worked out in their favor. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask this person out. Espresso invited me over to their house, you know, just kind of like hang out. And I was like, all right, this is a perfect time. This is the perfect time to just ask them right there and then. I was like, hey, Espresso, I think you're kind of cute. You wanna, you know, I don't know, maybe go out with me sometime? It took Espresso a while to register what I said, or at least I think it did, because she just kind of stared off into space. After what felt like an eternity, Espresso looked me in the eyes and said, I am really sorry, Kath, I cannot. And almost just as if on cue, someone comes into the door of Espresso's house, and Espresso's expression changes from, you know, kind of shock, honestly, shock that I asked it, to happiness because she looked over on the side and it was someone else coming in, visiting from out of town. It's one of those things where it's kind of funny on a sitcom or something, or like a show. But in real life, at the time, I was just kind of like, no. I had like mega Charlie Brown energy. Like I just had that football like thrown away when I kicked. Dealing with rejection at the time, this is kind of an aside. Dealing with rejection at the time, this is coming from somebody who really didn't date, like at all. This is like my third attempt at just anything coming my way. I didn't really know how to kind of deal with rejection emotionally. It took a lot for me to kind of get over that. Obviously now, like I'm 100% fine, but early calf was just kind of like me not know what to do. So yeah, that was a little difficult. But the person who came over to Espresso's house was really excited to meet Espresso and, you know, proceeded to kiss Espresso and, you know, just right there on the spot. And I was like, oh, I see, this is how it's going. I don't know, it felt at the moment that a rain cloud had just kind of like built up inside of that room because I was just like kind of defeated. It's not meant to be. So I gave up. I actually gave up for a while. And it wasn't until I met Shep, really, I even thought about like hearts on the horizon. So to kind of like summarize all this, I am really bad at picking up on romantic ideas in general. Like, I feel like I would know. I've watched enough media, movies, TV shows, whatever, where I was like, it's gonna be really easy to decide when somebody has a crush on you. You're just gonna be able to see it. A little bit of a spoiler alert, it doesn't quite work out that way. So yeah, I do kind of kick myself looking back on all of it. I don't know why. I feel like I was a little, on some level, I felt a little bit annoyed, but that was just so long ago. Honestly, like, I wouldn't change how my life played out. I mean, maybe a little bit on picking up on social cues. That was kind of a glimpse into what life was like before I met Shep. If any of y'all have any awkward stories you want to share about like what it was like when you were trying to like get into the dating game, like let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video interesting in any way, shape, or form, you know, consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you know, could you maybe press that subscribe button? I'm super excited to just kind of branch out a little bit and get more footage of what goes on. Calf vlog, let's go. But yeah, I hope all of you have a great rest of your week. Like, please do. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Oh my goodness, sending all my love your way.
I'd like to give a huge thank you to the following Gold Egg patrons: STL Motovlogs, Blueberry the Husky, Chase Husky, Sparkle, Ashiro Pony, Moodle, DH, Apollo Bunny, Funtime Wolf, Dynamo, Emerith Cantonine, and Cinder Kitten. And I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my other patrons and supporters as well. If any of y'all want to consider becoming a patron, check me out on the link above.